I thought, what am I going to do with this baby? Well, she had evidently been raped by a policeman, and she fled from home because she's afraid of the policeman, and she didn't want the parents to know, anybody to know that the daughter was in this situation or whatever. So they ended up in Phuket and met one of the Christians, and so they said, what are we going to do? How are we, And we were on our way to a birthday party one night, and we stopped at the hospital to see how this girl was doing. And they were saying somebody has to stay with her because the nurses don't do things. The family member stays, and the nurse is just the go-between between the medicine and the hospitals or anything like that. And I looked around at this group who were in our car going to this birthday party for one of the kids. And I'm the only one that's ever had a baby.
Oh, wow.
So I spent the night in the hospital, and there is 15-bed ward with a wooden chair in between each bed because everybody always has a parent or a friend or somebody, that's there with them. And we just happened to be there when they brought her out of the delivery room with the baby. They carried her in a cot down the stairs, a guy on each end, and took her to this 15-bed ward. And there I was. I thought, what am I going to do with this baby? And I asked them, I said, where do you sterilize? I'm used to military hospitals. Where how are you going to feed the baby? This mother would not look at the baby. She never looked at her, ever, because it was such a terrible situation, for. And so I stayed. I stayed in the hospital the whole time she was there with this baby, and we ended up getting her into a children's home out of Bangkok. And they came down and picked the baby up.